This is the Big O Show. 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 This
So here's the putting green. See? There you go. Got two flags. One is over there where Cutter's Edge Pro. It's not coming out now. Come on. Come on, wind. Give me a little wind. No, unfortunately. But there you go. And this one says Big O here. There you go. So there's my putting green. It's about, I would say about 25 feet, something like that. I get to practice, have a little fun. See? And then, of course, we got, the bunkers. Got to have the bunkers, man. Got all kinds of bunkers there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a taste of our backyard. There's Maiden right there. Maiden. Bono, how you doing, Bono? Bono. He's a Carolina dog, by the way. These dogs are amazing. Their temperaments are awesome. But there is the Sylvester Palm, which is just beautiful. All right, call my guys, Will and Mike at Cutter's Edge Pro. They will take care of you. Dogs are not included, okay? Can't include the dogs. Those are mine. But the exceptional work, oh, baby. Oh, baby. Yes. Make your home an oasis. CuttersEdgePro.com. Go to their Instagram page, by the way, so you can see a lot of the before and after work that they do. And it is exceptional, baby. This thing's been on here for about 9 months. No grass growing through it or anything like that. Right, Bono? Huh? Bono!
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing a personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help. When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Howdy, good morning, boys and girls. Welcome aboard on a beautiful Tuesday. Well, I hope it's a beautiful Tuesday. I hope it's not too hot wherever you're at, because, man, wherever you're watching in the world, right? The heat is real. So I hope you guys are all hanging in there. Stay hydrated and don't get too much sun, because obviously too much sun is not a good thing. Sean Stanley, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, the grandfather that is driving this program. We got a grandfather driving the program. So, Grandpa. He's a grandpa. That is awesome. That is just absolutely awesome. I've never worked with a grandpa before. I mean, this is new to me. This is just, for those of you that don't know, because a lot of you don't tune in every single day, there are some hardcores, which we know, the hardcore people, we know who you are, okay? That we know. But those of you that are not hardcore, Sean Stanley became a grandpa over the weekend. So the congratulations for Sean should continue, and the family. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's happy. So it's a good thing. Although, Sean, Sean, you're kind of happy now, but, you're going to have to be taking care of the kid. You're going to have to be so this is like more work for you. You know what I'm saying? This is what's going to end up happening. It's good. Yeah. He's got the thumbs up. Oh, man. It's a beautiful thing. Hello from Lake Okeechobee. Dude, 67. Well, hey, man, that's, I was born in Belglade. So that's, part of the triangle in the bottom of the lake. So, yeah, out there with the Immokalee, right? And Apopka, right? What is it? Immokalee, Belglade, Apopka, is it right? It's the other little town that's there. Something like that. I'm missing something. Doesn't sound complete. Sounds like I'm missing something. There's another town. I think there's another town there. Anyway, so Thank you, dude. 67 checking in. I appreciate it. I see Jamie Zoria, number 1 in San Jose. It's a beautiful thing. Brian Walters. Speaking of the hardcore, Zoria and Walters, those are hardcore. Those are the folks that are in every single day supporting us live. Gus 13A talk about super hardcore there. JG Long, super hardcore, all the way in Malaysia, baby. Omar Lopez, Giovanni is in. Says, thanks for the daily entertainment while I work in my studio shop. Cheers. Thank you, Giovanni. Appreciate it. Steve Chapman in, Mr. Torres, John Padilla, Frankie Fresco. Let's see. Brett Dodger, Steven Gonzalez, Zuko. Adrian Garcia, reminding everybody to smash the hell out of that like button. Come on, we got 94 already, 95. It's building up. Hit that like button as you come in, man. It's really important. Yes, Giants did come to terms with Barkley. Barely. Okay, you don't want to sign the tag. Okay, great. Okay, but we'll give you $11 million instead of the 10.1. So, you'll make an extra $900,000, It's rough. We'll get to it. Not for them. I mean, just the situation is just a rough situation for running backs. Still making $11 million, so at least he's gonna make some money. Strafasi is in. Think Dodgers in. Rosendo says, let Tuesday bring peace into your life by going slow through your day, focusing on your breathing when stressed, and doing just one thing at a time. Tell that shit to Carlee Russell. She better start doing some yoga, meditating, all that shit, because she's going to need it for jail. Lying to everybody about all that shit. Throw her ass in jail for about 6 months to a year. There's somebody that did the same shit, and they're serving 18 months right now. Same thing that Carlee Russell did, 18 months. I don't know what Carlee's going to get, but she needs to see some jail time. That's what she needs. Her boyfriend comes out and says, oh, stop picking on her. What did you expect America to do? She lied to everybody. She made everybody feel bad for her. She made people search for her. She made people spend money to search for her. And she lied to everybody. Of course they're going to be pissed. And she's going to have to live with this for the rest of her life. She's going to need plastic surgery and change her name. That's what she's going to need. So Rosendo, I would say that all that stuff you're talking about, Carlee's going to need that. She's going to need to breathe in deeply and drink all kinds of green tea and all kinds of stuff, boy, because she's headed for a world of hurt, emotional hurt. Enoch says, hello from New York City. Road to the Super Bowl starts this week. Let's go Dolphins. Can't wait, bro. Camp opens up tomorrow. I mean, the first couple of days is nothing until they put on pads, but it's just great to have football back, man. It's just great to have football back. True Fin fan already chiming in with a super chat. And this one is, congrats, Grandpa Sean. Thank you, True Fin fan. Appreciate it. Remember, talk amongst yourselves about showing up on Thursdays, because you guys are surprising me like True Fin fan and Steven surprised this week. And I know that Josh went by a couple of weeks ago, so I don't know. But if you guys talk amongst yourselves and like get a big group together, start getting some people together. You guys want some get-togethers, right? Every Thursday at Hialeah. Or maybe we do it the first Thursday of every month or the last Thursday of every month or something. But, get together. But I need to know so I can prepare on my end. You know what I'm saying? You guys surprise me, one person or two or whatever, I don't know what to time and what to bring or whatever. You know what I mean? I got lucky that I brought a couple of shirts last week, and I didn't know if anybody was going to show up. And luckily, and by the way, I only brought 2 shirts. So it was like lucky that 2 guys showed up. But if more start showing up, I need to know. Because if not, I can't bring any extra stuff. So that's why it's got to be something that we make it a tradition there at Hialeah Park, and people start coming out. All right. And it's super comfortable, man. We're inside. We're away from the heat. We're in a lounge. There's chairs. There's food. There's drinks. There's gambling. There's lovely ladies. All kinds of stuff, man. And, of course, the show going on. And you can watch it live. Has Zeke found a new team? No, he has not, sir. Let's see. Like button smashed. Oh, you make life so much better for this over-the-road trucker. Well, thank you, Gordon. Just drive safely, my brother. That's the most important part. Alex says, good morning, Big O. And Sean still checking in from Baptist. Had a minor stroke. Hope you're improving, my brother. Wow. That for sure, Big O. That's for sure. Big O ran out of shirts. Well, I only took 2. I didn't say I didn't have more. Okay. See? So I brought 2. Doesn't mean that I don't have more. Still have a few more that we printed from a couple of years ago. See? So still give away some Big O Show shirts. These are really cool, actually. It's the first batch. More to come, actually. Having a meeting today, this afternoon, for merch. So, but that'll be merch that we'll be selling on the site. So merch will be coming soon. I'm working on all of that now. So trying to get that finalized. So we will try. Let's see. Would you sign Elliott if we don't get Cook? No, I would not. I would not sign Elliott. I wouldn't even bother to bring him in. Buy some Sports Grill wings? I don't get that. What does that mean? Getting closer to football season. Oh, we're already here, dude. We're already here. NorCal says, I have an OG Big O shirt. I'm all in on new merch. It's coming. It's coming. I'm working on it. Going to work on, hopefully I can get T-shirts and polos and a couple different types of things. I don't think we need hats, right? I don't think, would you guys buy Big O Show hats? I don't know. Should I get hats? Maybe we'll print a couple hats because I don't know how many. Like, I like wearing hats, so I'm a hat guy, but I don't know how many of you out there are hat people. So we'll see. Big O, how many backs do you expect Miami to keep? 4, by the way. My thought is 6. No, 4, and the fullback is 5. Lovett will be like probably a practice squad guy, is what they'll do. They'll stash the second fullback. I don't think you keep 2 fullbacks on the roster. So I think it's 4 backs and a fullback. That'll be your 5. Tino says, good morning, Big O, and congrats on being a grandpa, Stanley. Fin from New Mexico. Duke says he wants hats. Okay. So we'll do some hats. Walter says yes to the hats. If Elliott looked mediocre behind one of the best O-lines in the NFL, imagine behind the Dolphins line. By the way, the Cowboy line has gone down a little bit. It's not as good as it was a couple of years ago. So Let's not keep putting that thing in some kind of category like the mid-90s Cowboys line, because this line didn't ever get to that point. Are the shirts? Yes, I'm going to make different kinds of shirts. It won't like these I have here in that first batch we printed a couple of years ago. They're all gray. You are correct. I will print some in dolphin colors or heat colors, you know. So yes, we will definitely do some of that. No doubt about it. So yeah. Hell yeah, I'll buy the hat. I'll rock the hat and the shirt. It's the least I can do. This show is church for me. Thank you. That's very nice of you. Very nice of you. Appreciate all of you out there, man. Very nice. So Tyreek Hill has fixed his issues. Sort of. Kind of. Okay? Because we still got to. This is the part that we weren't really worried about. There was never going to be any kind of serious legal repercussions from this. He wasn't going to go to jail. They weren't going to set him to probation. He was, there was nothing criminally that was really going to be any kind of threat to Tyreek, to the Dolphins season, to any of that. So basically, Tyreek paid the guy off already. So the Miami State Attorney's Office reviewed the alleged physical altercation involving wide receiver Tyreek Hill last month. And the report on Monday said the individuals at the center of the incident have reached a resolution. The parties of the incident, which occurred on June 18th at Haulover Marina involving Tyreek, have resolved their differences, citing a joint statement from Julius Collins, the attorney for Hill, and Evan Feldman, the attorney for the employee of Kelly Fleet, Inc. Ed Griffith, a spokesman for the state attorney's office, later told the Herald in an email that the review into the matter is ongoing. Now, Hill was deep-sea fishing with friends and his agent on Father's Day when he exchanged words with at least two men who told him fishing from Haulover Park Marina dock was off limits. One accused Hill of slapping him in the back of the head. A police report did not name Hill, but said that when the employee approached the group, a man thought to be the Dolphin star began arguing with him, slapping him in the neck area with an open hand before being restrained by a few people. According to people who work on the dock, Hill noticed a large tarpon in the relatively shallow water near the dock, which are attracted by fish scraps from the dock's boats. Fishing from the dock is not allowed at the marina, but Hill may have been given some conflicting information. Sources said he asked the captain if he could fish and was told it wasn't permitted from the dock, but that he could jump aboard an adjacent vessel and fish from there. The report, which also does not name the victim, said the incident was recorded early evening on June 18 via surveillance cameras and that the man who was struck had no visible injuries. The manager of Kelly Fishing Fleet, located at the marina, interacted with the group before the altercation about renting a boat, but they passed because it was too expensive. Police were never called to the dock, and the man accusing Hill of slapping him reported the incident the following day. The Miami-Dade police later forwarded the information to the state attorney's office for further review. The NFL, which reportedly requested footage from the alleged altercation, did not immediately respond to requests for comment. So that's the one we're waiting for, because he has a prior with the whole girlfriend stuff. He has two incidents. And so now you have this, and so the NFL could suspend them for a game. And I think that that's the most that could happen is a game. And the negative, if there's a negative on all of this, is that they already came to a resolution. So now the NFL can come to a quicker resolution since the legal portion of it did not drag on for months or a year or something. So then, if the NFL would have done something 6 months or something down the line, any suspension would have been for the following season is probably what would have happened. Now, because we're still 6 weeks away from the NFL season starting, the NFL could finish their own investigation, and if they feel like suspending him for a game, they could. So we'll see. Now we got to kind of cross our fingers. Will Hill be available for game 1 of the regular season? That's all I don't think, even if the NFL was going to punish him, I don't believe it would be more than a game. Okay? It's either going to be a fine or a game or nothing. Maybe it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? And you know what the other thing is? The video. How good is that video? Does it show him hitting the guy? And then what did the NFL do after that? That's the question. That's, to me, that's the only thing I've ever been concerned about. I've told you guys this from the get-go, is that, maybe this will cost him a game with the NFL. On the legal side, you figured he'd pay him off, or if they go to court or whatever, it'll be a slap on the hand, some fine, and they move on. But it wasn't like it was ever going to be anything real serious. You know what I'm saying? The only thing serious, the way I look at it, is if he loses a game here to start off. And again, Miami can beat the Chargers in week 1 without Tyreek Hill. Okay? I really believe that. I think they're the better team when it's all said and done. So we'll see. With or without Tyreek Hill, they're the better team. So we'll find out. But that's now we got to see what the hell is the NFL going to do. That's what we need to find out. Let's see. Thank you, dude. 67, too kind, sir. NorCal says, Big O, 100% buy a hat. Not sure if you have someone to produce gear, but if not, dirty sportswear are awesome. And Cameron is right there in South Florida. Have him call me, bro. Do me a favor. Have him reach out to me. Send me a text on the business line, 786-754-4664. 786-754-4664. And by the way, if your business wants to be a part of our platform, we are still searching for a home for our weekly Dolphins pre- and post-game show. We got people that will come over and watch the game with us, a bunch of listeners. So we are looking for a home to bring the pre- and post-game show for the season. So we'd like to see if we get a home. We got a title sponsor already. We're looking for the co-title sponsor, which is the home base for the show. So EJD Construction is already the title sponsor, but we need the other part of the title sponsor, which is a home for the show. So if your restaurant or bar, sports bar, wants to host, we are open to it. Grandpa and I will be there every week to cover it. Is training camp open to the media? Yeah, starting tomorrow, Jamesville. Tomorrow it opens. Let's see. Sweet Baby Ray says, good morning, Big O and Sean. Today is day 1 of our Dolphins Super Bowl run. See ya in Vegas. You know it, man. Also, if you sell your gear, Big O, I'll definitely buy it, says Jamesville. Thank you. Let's see. 100% will get a hold of you. I have many of his hats, hoodies, and shirts. I even have some of his shorts. Great quality stuff. Please have him reach out to me. I would love to talk to him. What do you got for me, Sean?
No, it's can you check your phone? I was trying to get your attention for the last couple minutes. And...
Oh, I am sorry, bro. I am sorry. What else do we have going on? By the way, Cameron Wolfe will be joining us at the bottom of the hour. Okay. All right. Does he know that if he just pops in, I'll do it? Just pops in. It's
not like, so I didn't want to answer because I didn't know what you had scheduled. So I was like waiting, trying to get you this.
Yeah, this half hour is open. You can pop in anytime. It's fine. I'm flexible, dude. We adjust on the fly with everything going on. Tonight, by the way, Messi's back in action. Leagues Cup play again. Inter Miami and Atlanta United. So we'll see what happens if we get some Messi magic tonight. Marlins are back in action, taking on the Rays. Edward Cabrera taking on Tyler Glass now. 6:40 first pitch. Lost 8 of 9. Blown 4 saves in the process. Hasn't been pretty. That's for sure. We got Canes ACC Media Days going on. Nothing earth-shattering coming out of that so far, at least. We'll talk to Manny Navarro at 11:30. He is there in Charlotte covering the ACC Media Days. So we'll get to talk to Manny about all of that. So, got training camp underway starting tomorrow. Players have already reported. So we got that going on. How about this? So ESPN has held talks about bringing in sports leagues as minority investors. The NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, to be minority investors in it. Remember I told you that ABC and Disney and all, especially Disney, has kind of pushed away ESPN onto their own island. Remember I told you that now stuff is going to come. The cuts came, right? They don't have the kind of money that they've had in the past. So now they're trying to partner with these leagues so they spend less money. But here's the problem with ESPN, okay? It's already lost a boatload of credibility as it is over the last few years. It's become just, a joke lately. So what happens if pro leagues become partners of your platform? How do you report on them objectively? You don't. It's the kind of shit you have to deal with at QAM or plenty of other places that have partnerships with teams. It's the kind of crap that I used to have to deal with all the time. Program directors crapping in their pants because I'm ripping into a team or an owner or a GM or something, and they're like, well, we have relationships, and I don't care. That's not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be doing my show objectively and talking about it. What am I may love the hell out of Riley, never want him to leave, but I'm going to tell you if he screwed up. Just because I root for Riley, just because I stand by Riley, I'm going to tell you if he screwed up. Huge Moss believer, especially after working with him. And I've told you over and over again, he's going to win. He's going to overcome. But I'll tell you also, boy, they've made a shitload of mistakes. They are as organized as it gets at times. Got to do my job, dude. I got to do my job. I only know how to do it one way. You know what I mean? And media, whether it's news, politics, sports, you can't get anything straight anymore. Everybody's sold out one way or another. You're going to get, you think you're going to get fair coverage on the writers and actors strike? Of course not. Because all the people that own all these movie studios and all that are the same people that own all the television companies and newspapers, and it's the same conglomerates. So how are you going to get something objective? You're not. You're not going to get your politics objective, right? Because if you're on Fox or on CNN, they're going to be slanted either way. And so ESPN now wants to bring in the leagues as partners. Like, whatever happened to, I'm a dying breed, dude. A real dying breed. I'm like a running back, bro. I'm dying on the vine. Luckily, Sean and I on our own platform and not that it ever stopped me. Okay? Sean's been with me when I've ripped into ownerships. Sean, you've been there, right? Okay? I don't hold back on anyone. Program directors, owners, general managers, coaches, players. I don't give a shit. I'll tell you straight to your face the same thing I say on the air. Same exact shit. But we can't do that anymore. So ESPN now is thinking of partnering up with the NFL, NBA, or Major League Baseball because they need the money. Yeah. So much for objective coverage in anything. It's a joke, dude. Like, ESPN's already a joke. Do you want to become a bigger joke? I just catch it for some breaking news. Once they start getting into their stupid little debates, I know that's all contrived. That's all bullshit. Once they start getting into their little stupid features, I know it's driven by a bunch of other bullshit. I tune out. I want nothing to do with it. I don't watch First Take. I don't care about, Undisputed, right? Or I don't watch any of that shit. It's all polluted, bro. It's all polluted. It's sad, man. Like, the shit I grew up with, like, Neil Rogers. I grew up with Hank Goldberg and Ed Kaplan. These aren't people you were going to shut up, dude. That's how I learned to do radio. That's how I learned to be objective and call it like you see it. That's what all those guys did. That's what I learned from. You can't. Those guys are dead. Those guys would be dead in the water in today's world, like me. Like, they can't do their jobs. It's the weirdest thing, dude. Whatever happened to this? Whatever happened to this medium? And let me tell you, I work around people that they're afraid of having an opinion. And why? Because they're stuck in that corporate world. I know I was part of that corporate world. I was just a daredevil that never gave a shit about the people above me and if they were going to get their feathers ruffled or whatever. It's terrible, dude. Hey, can you give a happy birthday shout out to my boy Steve Alba, a.k.a. Fake Staff? Whip out the old hog, Shooters Ramaswamy 2024. Ramaswamy is climbing, baby. People are finding out that he's probably about the closest thing to a human being running for office. Anyway, Scotty Haythaler, let's give it out to Steve Alba. Fake Staff, happy birthday out there, buddy. Hope you have a great birthday. Have a cold one on me. Enjoy your birthday, my friend. Thank you, Scotty Saylor, for the support as always on the show, man. Gordon says, you're more like a fullback. Oh, most of the objective reporters are gone. Save a small few like you. Yeah, it's completely disappeared, bro. Completely disappeared. Lebitard's another one that can say whatever he wants, but there aren't a lot, bro. There aren't a lot left. It's really amazing. I agree with you, on ESPN, but I do enjoy a lot of their 30 for 30s. Yeah. That's not the broadcast stuff. But J-Town, I agree. Yeah, the 30 for 30s are good. Shannon Sharp will moonwalk to the First Take desk. Frankie, that's why they fired everyone to pay Shannon. No, they fired everybody because they're losing their ass. That's why. The news and sports are so political, and everyone gets their M's. Well, it's not so much political; it's just that it's slanted. That you have to lean one way or another for one reason or another, because of your ties, which is just ridiculous. So, I don't get it, man. I thought he was going to jump on. Now he's late.
I just texted him just to make sure. I was like, "You good, Cam?"
Yeah, it's like, what the hell? After everything, it's like, now you're late. So the Ravens lost their long snapper, Nick Moore. They ended up signing Tyler Ott. The Bills lost their special teams guy, Himes, the returner, which, again, for the 80th time, for those of you out there, that has nothing to do with Dalvin Cook. Not Himes has a completely different role. He's not really like a running back. He's a backup running back. It's more of a pass catcher, more of a special teams guy. So they're going to have to look for another returner, scat back type of guy. It's not what Cook is. But, man, teams are already suffering injuries, and we barely started. Those are the injuries that really suck. All right, let's get to it. Let's unleash the Wolf Pack.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolfe. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolfe.
All right. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good. How you doing, O?
I can't wait, man. Freaking
first day of school. First day of camp.
Yeah, dude. Finally, man. It'd be nice to hit some camp and start watching. Although the first couple of days is nothing.
Yeah, they're not practicing today, and so tomorrow will be the first practice day. But you won't see any of the really ramped up stuff probably until the weekend, going into next week.
Right, yeah. When fans come out Sunday.
Yes. So fans, you're not missing a ton. Fans always ask, like, why can't we go to this practice? Why you can't? I'm like, trust me, we're gonna see these guys on the field, and trust me, we're gonna tell you what's happening. But you'll see the most interesting stuff probably starting Sunday and going through the rest of camp.
Is this true? Bronny James just had a cardiac arrest and rushed to the hospital? You got to be kidding me. That's a child.
Right.
I
don't know. I see I see Shams reporting it. Shams is reporting he's in stable condition. He's taken to the hospital. No longer. But yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, collapsed on the court Monday, had a cardiac arrest. He was taken to the hospital. He's now in stable condition, no longer in the ICU. Statement yesterday while practicing, Bronny James suffered a cardiac arrest. Medical staff was able to treat Bronny and take him to the hospital. He's now in stable condition, no longer in ICU. We ask for respect and privacy for James' family. We will update the media. There's more information about this matter. Thanks. Appreciation to the USC medical staff and athletic staff.
Wow. Wow. It is.
Every day you open your eyes is a blessing, period. Every single day you open your eyes is a blessing.
Absolutely.
Wow.
It is, and nobody's exempt. No matter how much money you make or what role you have or whatever it is, everybody is privy to life's ups and downs. So sounds like from what the tweet was, he's going to be okay, but it's still super scary. So,
Yeah. Okay, now, but what's this long term mean? That's
Right.
really the question. Right. Will the young man be able to continue his career? That's really and live a normal life, which is actually the most important thing.
Absolutely.
In the end, he'll be all right as long as he doesn't end up with Larsa Pippen. All right. Anyway, let's get to it. Saquon Barkley, what'd you think of the deal he got, and what's that going to lead to?
Yeah, I mean,
to
be honest, it's not much of a different deal than the franchise tag. Like, I guess my thing was a Zoom meeting with running backs about how there's issues, we need to fix it. But the day or two later, Saquon takes a deal that's essentially the same. I just think that running backs are in a very precarious situation. It doesn't seem. And so Saquon's doing a deal that gives him an extra $900,000 in incentives, but only if the Giants make the playoffs. He can be tagged next year. It doesn't do anything to the market. If anything, it sets it back even further. And so I don't really have much more to say than, Saquon. I get it.
Weren't you privy to the big fullback meeting?
No.
Weren't you privy to the big center's post-play meeting that, like, hey, man, what happened to us? Like, they don't throw it to us anymore at the post. We don't play that game anymore. What happened to were you there at the post-players meeting? Because, I mean,
what, all three of them, the remaining three? The remaining three fullbacks?
My point is, the wedge busters on returns. Were you part of that meeting with the wedge busters? Because
no.
they disappeared too, the wedge busters.
Yeah.
I kind of laugh with this whole meeting of the running backs. Like, you guys have no leverage. You have nothing to say, really. You can bitch and complain all you want, but you got no control. The game is changing. Right. And you're not gonna that's like saying, okay, you know what, Cam, you and I are going to stop this tsunami that's about to hit South Florida. Let's go out to the beach and hold out our arms, and we'll stop the tsunami.
Yeah.
We'll slow that big ass wave down. No, we're not doing. It's something you cannot stop at this point in time, and so that's why I asked you, what's it going to lead to? Because, and by Saquon taking that deal, he basically said, well, at least I could guarantee some money now, because I'm not going down to Le'Veon Bell, because I don't know what Josh Jacobs is thinking. But, dude, you're going to have to report at one point or another.
Absolutely. And you saw Jonathan Taylor was upset, but he just reported today as well. There's not a lot of leverage. The way the new CBA works, if you get fined, you can't get those fines rescinded. A lot of times players will just say, hey, out of camp because I know the team will rescind my fines once we resolve this. Now they can't do that. And so that's why you see situations like Xavier a year or two ago where he holds in, and with other players where they come into camp and say, hey, I tweaked a hamstring or I tweaked an ankle, because it's not worthwhile to hold out. But this running back market doesn't look like it's going to get any better for them anytime soon.
All right. Tyreek Hill, this part of it, I wasn't ever really worried. There was never going to be any criminal repercussions from this. He wasn't going to go to jail. He wasn't going to be on probation. If anything, he would have paid some kind of silly little fine, court fine, moved on, whatever. Pay the victims some kind of, whatever for slapping him. So I was never worried about this end. The part I'm still worried about is, what's the NFL doing? How good was this video? Is it obvious that he hits him? And because of the prior history, and I'm going to stick to my guns on this, the only thing I fear is a 1-game suspension from the NFL. Is that still something that I could fear for Tyreek Hill?
I mean, it's possible, but one thing first is the criminal situation seems to be resolved. The civil situation was what was resolved yesterday or today. That's essentially, if you want to get the layman's terms of that, Tyreek gave him an amount of money we're having, and now everybody's good. That's not
slightly more than $200. That's all I know.
Yes. So the NFL obviously can still put up to punishment, even though there's no case. That being said, they have also been pretty judicious. You haven't seen a lot of suspensions with kind of off-season things that have been settled. The one caveat is the video is awful and it gets leaked, then it puts the NFL in a precarious situation. If it's not as bad, or if the public never sees it, then I think the most likely result is that Tyreek goes upon his business with no punishment from the NFL, or maybe a small fine.
Yeah, and by the way, that video still could come out now that all the legal issues are done and the guy got his money. If
Yep.
they want to now sell it to TMZ, they can now sell the video to TMZ because they're now free of anything. If they were worried about anything, now they're completely free. So that video is going to get out one way or another. And with the Ray Rice situation, I think the NFL learned its lesson that, if it's out there, we need to do something about it no matter what, because if it gets out and we didn't do the proper thing, like in the Ray Rice situation, it ends up becoming, a bad look for them. But I was never worried about legal. I was never worried about the money side of it. What's that called? When you have to pay the person, whatever the civil part of it. I wasn't ever worried about it. This is the part that I'm worried about. This is the only part that I could say, and because of all the legal issues being done right away, that this didn't drag on for 6 more months or a year, the NFL could definitely come to a resolution by the beginning of the season, and he could miss a game, because I that's what I fear the most is one game. I don't think it'll be any worse than that. If it's not a game, it'll be a fine. But he's going to get something from the NFL. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Even if it's a fine, possibly, a lot of times it's a strongly worded letter, like next year. Right. We'll kind of see. But one thing I do know about the NFL's process, typically it's a year or two after where it comes about. So I don't know if there's something in 2023. It may be 2024, if anything.
Did you watch Quarterbacks on Netflix?
I did. I actually liked it. A lot of people complained that it wasn't, the hard hitting stuff, but I don't know what you expected, given the access. I like to see a different side of these players. Seeing Patrick Mahomes really be about the trash talk and cursing dudes out, that's a different side of Patrick Mahomes that people may not have known. Seeing Kirk Cousins and some of maybe the pains he goes through, we all kind of thought of Kirk Cousins as he's just kind of an average dad type quarterback, but you see a little bit more of his personality, his character, what shaped him. I think a lot of people went away with this being Kirk Cousins fans. I'm more of a Kirk Cousins fan watching that. And then Marcus is.
How do you not like Kirk Cousins?
Exactly. Right.
How can you? He's a great human being, bro. He's just a great human being. It's like Tua. It's the same shit. It's like, if you dislike Tua, there's something wrong with you, bro.
Right. What's the reason?
Come on, give me a break. And let me tell you something. The best part of that whole series, I'm going to tell you something that nobody says, because we're full of machismo, we're full of testosterone and all of that shit. What stood out to me was all the wives.
Yeah.
That's what stood out to me, dude.
Yeah.
It was the wives.
Yep.
The fucking walks that they are, bro.
Right.
For these guys.
Yeah.
Mariota wife has to reset in every sit. I was explaining it to my wife. This is a guy that is not. He's a fringe starter, more of a backup. So, they got 3-level quarterbacks. They got the stud, they got the good quarterback, and then they got the fringe quarterback. They gave you the 3 different kinds of quarterbacks.
I love that.
But think about Mariota wife has to adjust. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Mariota wife has to adjust every city, over and over again. And it's going to be a short shelf life. You know what I mean? And they're back to another city this year, And then I think Cousins' wife she's like a rock, dude. She's awesome. Okay.
Yes.
And they're as, wholesome and plain Jane as it gets. I get it. And then, say what you want about Mahomes' wife, Brittany, because she's so out there on social and all that. But you know what I learned in this show? was with him when they were in middle school.
At the very start. Yeah. Yep.
And so she was, and he chased her, and they were nobodies when they met. They fell in love when they were kids.
Yeah.
So she's not a gold digger. She didn't get on when he was the big high school quarterback, getting the big, offers from everywhere and all that kind of shit. So you may not like her at times or whatever, but I respect her as a woman that she's been with him from the get-go and has stuck with him. And that, for a guy that's been married, going to be 30 years in a couple of months, that means something to me. You know what I'm saying? Because my wife's been with me through all this shit for 36 years. And radio is like Marcus Mariota, so it's, what I'm saying? So that to me is what stood out about quarterbacks more than the players. It was great to get some of that insight. You're talking about Mahomes, but I think that the profile on the three women I thought was really, really important, because it's easier for all of us to succeed as men, if we really admit it, if we have strong women behind us.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I got to go in a sec, 10:50. I got to be in the room for this. X and Raheem and Jalen are talking. But to respond to you there, I think you're right on the money. You need a support system to do this thing, like especially to be a quarterback in this league. I know I need a support system. I've been married 5 years. My wife is a to me, and I haven't been nearly as many places as Marcus has been in the last 5 years. And so a lot of times we just see the front-facing quarterback, see the work that goes behind for them, but also the people who keep them in their mind right. And so I'm with you. That was a great part of the series.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the series. All right, follow him on Twitter at Cameron Wolfe. Catch his exceptional work there at the NFL Network, and I'll catch you at camp, and we'll talk later on in the week, my friend. Appreciate it.
Sounds great. Appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. There you go, Cameron Wolfe. We unleash the Wolf Pack.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolfe. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All right. Most of us won't admit it, but to me, that's what really stood out in that quarterback series was the women, man. Rocks. I'm a big fan of Kirk Cousins' wife. She's a rock. Yeah. Respect to those women. Big time. The right women will make you, the wrong one will break you. Amen to that, Anthony. Amen to that. Brett Campbell says, Dalvin saying we didn't even offer, shaking my head. Him and his agent are getting real desperate. Yeah. They did get an offer. It's just, it's kind of what I said from day one. Nobody in NFL coverage, no one. Okay, it doesn't matter who you want. Schefter, you can name Rappaport, you can name all of them. None of them have even come close to what we told you about Dalvin Cook from day one till now. No one, not even close. We have given you a play-by-play before it even happened. Everything we told you, it has gone to a T. So the people that are surprised are the people that weren't listening to this show. If you were listening to this show, you're gonna go, damn, dude, this is like exactly the way O said it was going. This is exactly how the whole Dalvin Cook situation had developed. So if he doesn't sign a team-friendly deal, he's not signing a deal here. That's just the way it goes. So, rumors Marlins interested in a third baseman or relief pitcher. Thoughts? Green line, they need a bat and they need an arm. They have 4 blown saves in these last 9 games. Okay? They need another bat for sure. That's been proven. And Tampa got into a little bit of a funk, and they're a pain in the ass, and they own the Marlins. So if you lose this series again, that's 4 straight series that you're going to lose. And, what did I tell you guys? Didn't I tell you July was going to tell us everything that we needed to know by the end of July? That where the Marlins stood. Did I not repeat that over and over for months now? Well, by the end of July, we're going to find out where the Marlins stand. And here we are. And they're in a major funk now. And we're going to see, interested is one thing, Green Lion. Interested doesn't mean shit to me. Make the moves. Prove to me that you want to try to win. Okay? It's really good to go out there while you're front running and saying, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Well, now that the crap has hit the fan and you're falling behind, what are you going to do? So they need a bat. They need an arm. Okay? I can't tell you exactly that it has to be a third baseman, but they need another bat. Okay? They got to find a bat. And they got to find an arm. And we're going to see if are you half-ass renting something or are you acquiring something that you can build on? That too. I want to see what kind of trade you make. Are you trying to get some journeyman that you're only going to rent for a couple months and you gave away practically nothing for it? Or are you giving a high prospect away for somebody that is younger and you can build on it and they're a piece for next year? You see what Inter Miami's doing? It's kind of what I want to see. They're not adding a rent-a-player for the rest of the season. No, they're adding people that are going to come back next year. Okay? Jordi Alba will be back next year. Busquets will be. It's not just Messi. No. And then they're adding they added those 2 20-year-olds. And then I think they're going after another big name or two. We'll see, Suarez or whatever. But that's to bring them in and not to rent them for a couple games. That's for next year. So they can have a powerhouse team next year. And listen, I'm not asking Bruce Sherman to build a powerhouse. I know he doesn't have the money to do that. I know Moss has the money to do that. I know Moss has the balls to do that because he built a stadium for fun. I keep mentioning that to people. I just want to keep, because some guy asked me a couple months back, oh, yeah, will Moss spend? I'm like, yeah, bro, he's going to spend. He just needs to land the guys, but he'll spend it. When he lands, oh, well, we'll see. Because he wasn't believing me that if he would have bought the Marlins, dude, Moss is going to spend. They got to better their organization from within and other things, but they built a stadium for fun in Fort Lauderdale. Who the hell does that? That's commitment. I need to see some Sherman commitment. And this is the time. Get me the bat. Get me an arm in the bullpen. You need it. You see it. Let's see. Not sure which place is worse. Florida, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, or Southern Cal right now. Hope everyone is loving those triple digits. Well, while we're here in Rochester enjoying going to the lake and parks. Well, don't ever compare California to Florida. Okay, California used to be way better than us. Now they're complete trash. Okay, so it's not just the heat. Our heat is worse than California's, but everything else about California is garbage. Okay, the amount of homelessness that they have going on there and the crime that they got going on there is just absolutely ridiculous. We're not chaining our stores and doors for our freezers and all that like they do in California. So I don't think there's a worse state right now in the United States than California. And they should be by far, by miles, the number one state in our union. Number one by miles. Okay? By miles. So I'll stand up for New Mexico, Arizona, and Florida right now. California is the worst state to live in right now. The worst. So that's not even up for discussion. Let's see. Marlins, they are who we thought they were. Let's see. Ron DeSantis, he has car accident, but apparently nothing happened to him, so he's all right. My Rays have been dog crap recently. I know, but your Rays own our Marlins, bro. That's the problem. Baseball needs a heart. That'll never happen. The power teams aren't going to allow that to happen. Let's see. Does anyone know if Caneswear has Inter Miami? Of course they do. Yeah. Bro, go to caneswear.com, Green Lion. You watch this show all the time, dude. Go to caneswear.com. It's all there. Put Inter Miami. Put what else did you want? Inter Miami and Florida Panthers. And then all the stuff will pop up. Shirts and jerseys and hats and whatever they have. They have all kinds of stuff. And if you order over $99, you'll get free shipping. California is the New Mexico. I can say that I'm Puerto Rican. Yeah, I don't. What Newsom has done to that place is just crazy. Crazy. I would have never imagined that California would have gone to the amount of garbage that it's gone to. It's too damn beautiful and too many resources for it to be suffering the way it is. Saquon Barkley gets a 1-year, $11 million deal, $2 million signing bonus. So after all those threats, he's going to play ball. Oh, by the way, does Fred Taylor still think that Dalvin Cook is going to get $14 million a year? Saquon gets 11 on a 1-year deal, and Fred Taylor thinks Dalvin Cook could get $14 million a year. I can't get that interview out of my mind. And you know, it's the best part about it. See, here's the difference. And nothing. Look, I like both guys. Okay, Leroy and Tobin are terrific dudes. Okay, I texted Leroy after that interview. During that interview with Fred Taylor, like, what is Fred like? Where is he on? What planet is he on? Because he's not on Earth, right? But the funny part is when Fred Taylor says he needs to go out and get a $14 million deal. See, that's the difference between this show and every other show locally. Okay, Fred Taylor comes on my show and says, "Well, no, Dalvin should be trying to get a $14 million deal." What do? I stop you right in your tracks. I would have stopped Fred Taylor right in his tracks and said, "Fred, what did you just say? Did you just say he gets 14 million? What are you smoking?" That's the difference. I don't care if you're a guest on my show. If you're wrong, I'm going to tell you you're wrong. Or even if I think you're wrong, even if I'm wrong, but I think you're wrong, I'm going to say, "Hey, you're wrong." And then you're going to have to correct me. But that's the difference. If Fred Taylor comes on my show and says some bullshit like that, I'm going to call you out. You know, because I would have cornered him and said, "Who's getting that? I'm sorry, I must have missed that, Fred. Who's giving out $14 million deals? Who got that recently?" You know? And they just stayed quiet. They just let him go. And I'm like, how do you let this go? You can't let this go. So after all the shit that Saquon talked, he ended up signing his tender. 10.1, he ended up 11,900,000 extra. Big freaking deal, dude. You're in New York. You're going to pay a whole bunch of taxes. That 900,000 isn't that much. So, you know, it kind of tells you where this whole business is. And if you're a running back, you're screwed. And if you're a young running back, be prepared. because you're not going to have a long shelf life. And be prepared for this also if you're a running back, young running backs out there, since maybe some people won't be honest with you. Be prepared to move a lot. Be prepared. You're not staying on one team for 10 years or anything like that. You won't see a second contract with whoever drafts you. And then be prepared for signing 1-year deals, 2-year deals, and moving on to the next team and the next team. And be prepared to fight for your job almost every year. After your first contract, after they've worn you out in that first deal. Oh, and by the way, be prepared to get franchise tags so they don't have to extend you, but they can use you for another year or two after your first 4 or 5 years, probably more like 4, because most of you will never be drafted in the first round. Since most of you will be drafted between rounds 2 and 7, you will get 4-year deals. So most of you will play on a 4-year deal, then get tagged for another year or 2, and then you're off and running. And by the way, they are lowering the tag number every year. It was at 15 million at one point. Now it's down to 10.1 million. And it's only going to get lower because they're not going to pay running backs. The only one that would pay running backs is Fred Taylor if he was a general manager. Outside of that, nobody is paying running backs. And the Saquon Barkley deal sends the message that, too bad, sorry. You might be a very productive player, but for us right now, not good enough. Our number 2 of the program is next.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Miles an hour, that's a Category 4 hurricane. 3 deaths are reported in Florida after more than 24 were killed in the Caribbean. This
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. Hour number 2 of the program. Thank you. As always, Sean Stanley driving the program. Cutter's Edge Pro, proud sponsor of our program, folks. Landscape, outdoor lighting, irrigation, artificial grass. You see it all the time. You see my backyard. We're doing a little something to the front yard. We're going to show you once we're finished with the front yard. We'll show you what we're doing also now to the front yard. But it is your total landscape solution, folks, from lawns to landscape maintenance. Maintenance is so important. That's the other thing. Maybe you do have some landscape right now, but it's not really tight. It's not looking good. It's not growing right. Reach out to the people at Cutter's Edge Pro when it comes to maintenance. Listen, they're not just artists when they get to your home and then they redesign and set the landscaping and take your home to another level, but they're also great at maintenance too. So whether it's an HOA, whether it's your business, whether it's your home, call the great people at Cutter's Edge Pro, 954-472-0622. I tell you all the time about the artificial turf. If you own dogs like I do, it is the greatest invention on earth. I'm telling you, it's so easy to maintain. You're never cutting grass. You're never watering. So you're going to save hundreds and thousands as time goes on. So it pays off for itself. And, of course, the people at Cutter's Edge Pro just take it to another level. Tree trimming and removals, they do that. We're in the middle of hurricane season, so I don't want you climbing on ladders and roofs and risking your life. Call professionals, fully insured professionals, 954-472-0622. Go to Cutter's Edge Pro on Instagram and check out all the exceptional work there at Cutter's Edge Pro, and tell William and Mike that Big O sent you. Big O, I'm grooming my beard and stash like you because of you, sir. You are my hero. You're a crazy man, Willie. Appreciate you, brother. Eric says, went to Melbourne last fall for business. The place was a dump. Not sure how people like that. Melbourne what? Melbourne, Florida? Melbourne, Australia? What Melbourne are we talking about? You got to be a little bit more specific. Yes, we did talk about Bronny James, and Bronny apparently is in stable condition. He's all right after the cardiac arrest. Now, I don't know what's going to happen after all of this. Melbourne, Florida. Yeah, it's a little town. I went to Melbourne a couple times when the Marlins were in Melbourne. Spring training. I was boring. You know what it is to stay there for a week and a half, I think it is. I think I stayed there for like a week and a half. They would send you up there, and you would cover spring training every day. Oh, my God. Walking into that office in the morning at 7-something in the morning to see a half-naked Jim Leland smoking cigarettes and drinking chocolate milk. Well, that did some permanent damage to me. That's all I can tell you. Not just the secondhand chain smoking. Okay, this was another time. Okay, this is the 90s. Well, my man is just chain smoke. We're all trapped in a room, in a small room. I'm telling you, it's like, 10 by 10 or something. And he's sitting behind a desk, and it's just lighting up one cigarette after another. For 45 minutes, we're there every morning, and he is just, it's like a cumulonimbus cloud inside the goddamn room. And then you walk out, and you're like, oh, God, I smell like freaking cigarettes. I smell like a goddamn ashtray, thanks to Jim Leland. The shit you can't do nowadays, they could get away with in those days. But can you imagine if you and I'm not a cigarette guy, so you're breathing this shit in all for 45 minutes, dude. That dude could have given us all emphysema. Melbourne, Florida is beautiful. I live here, Big O. Yeah, it's a small little town. Not much there to do. I do like the zoo. Actually, the zoo there, I think it is in Melbourne itself, right? And that zoo is actually very cool. It's a different kind of zoo because it's got a lot of these wooden bridges that you're walking around all over the place. The zoo is actually really, really nice because I remember because I was stuck there I did it for a couple of years where I was there for like a week. And so I had nothing to do. And one of the things that I did do is I would go to the zoo. I think it's called the Melbourne Zoo. Not exactly sure, but yeah. Look it up for me, Sean. Zoo in Melbourne. Is it the Melbourne Zoo? But it's nice. If you've never been to the zoo there in Melbourne, go to it. It's actually a really cool zoo. I enjoyed it. But not a lot to do in Melbourne. Melbourne is the deadliest beach in Florida. Oh, why? There's a lot of sharks? From sharks and rip currents. Okay.
Brevard County Zoo.
That's it. The Brevard Zoo. That's it. That's it. The Brevard Zoo. Yes. Brevard Zoo is very cool. I would endorse the Brevard Zoo every day of the week and twice on Sundays. I have terrific memories of the Brevard Zoo. I have not been there in well over 20 years. I need to go. I should, you know what, on one of these times that I drive north, I should stop with the wife to the Brevard Zoo because I haven't been there in a while. What's more likely, 2,000 yards by Tyreek or our backs going over 1,500? Oh, the backs combined will go over 1,500 for sure. This year will be a different year. He got it. I think he got the message. I think he's going to run a lot more. Big old many managers in baseball used to chain smoke cigs in the dugout like Earl Weaver whenever he wasn't chewing out umpires. LOL. Yes, you are correct, sir. Jim Morrison, born in Melbourne. Out here in the perimeter, there are no stars. Out here, we is stoned, immaculate. Oh, do you ever do an interview with the coach who lost it like Hal McRae? Oh, when he was throwing the phone and he hit somebody? Yeah, Jimmy Johnson was losing it. Who's lost it in front of me? Riley never loses it. Riley has this calculated anger that he'll display, and not at us, at the players. Trying to remember because it's happened a couple times. Dave Wannstedt would lose it and he's running his fingers through his hair. Who else would lose it? Trying to think. I gotta the memory has got to get going. Oh, Saban. Oh my God, Saban lost it several times. Whoa, he lost it and he called me an asshole and everything. Yeah, I've told that story before. Saban calling me an asshole and then apologizing and all that good stuff. You should. The zoo has changed a lot. Super cool. Really? I got to go. I got to go by there one day because I love animals anyways. So it's actually a cool thing to go check it out. But I haven't been there in a while. And it is, even though I haven't been there in 2 decades, maybe has it been that long? Yeah. No, it was. It was late 90s when I was the beat guy for the Marlins. Yes. I did 97 and 98. Yes. So, and it was super cool then. So I would imagine, Now, to be fair, shark attacks happen everywhere, not just in Melbourne. Shit, didn't you just see in Miami that shark that was going like through people in the shallow area? And it swam like through like 15, 20 people. Because really, most of the time, the sharks aren't really after us. When they bite you, it's because they mistaken you for something else that they thought was food. But it's normally the sharks aren't after us. It's just kind of bad luck almost when you get attacked by one. That's kind of the way, supposedly that's what it is. It's not really something that, they're really out to get you all the time. It's kind of one of those things. It's almost like they're, what's that word I'm looking for? They're kind of psycho, and you kind of can't really figure them out, They're kind of off kilter themselves, So the NFL has suspended 2 more players for gambling. They suspended 2 players. Ioma Uwazuki or something. I'm sure I butchered his name. He's been suspended indefinitely, at least for a year, and then I think he can't even appeal it or something. But it's almost like at this point, you've got to be a moron to be betting on football games. Period. If you're a football player, if you haven't figured that out by now, and it's there in the locker rooms, they tell you all the time, and you're still doing it, whether you're in the facility or away, it's just things. And then Isaiah Wilson, the knucklehead, remember that Miami brought here, and he also screwed it up here. He's suspended for 3 games. No reason yet given for the suspensions, but those are a couple of things that came in. Teddy Bridgewater visits the Detroit Lions. The Lions have been trying to, bring in Teddy. They have an offer on the table. Teddy hasn't had any offers from anybody else. Hendon Hooker, by the way, was their draft pick. They do have Nate Sudfeld, who has a rocket of an arm, but he has no idea where it's going. And they've got another kid named Adrian Martinez. And I almost get the feeling that you want to bring in a Teddy Bridgewater because you want to mentor Hendon Hooker in the process. And that would make a lot of sense to bring in Teddy, because it's not so much that you need Teddy, because if you get to Teddy, your season's over. As I told you with Miami, and I'll tell you with Detroit, okay? If their starter goes down, Teddy ain't bailing you out. Like he wasn't going to bail you out here. Like he ain't going to bail you out of anywhere, because that's not who he is. He's a game manager on his best day. Period. That's all he is. That's all he's ever been. Never been a difference maker in his life. But he's an exceptional person. He's definitely got leadership qualities to him. And you bring in a young guy like Hendon Hooker, that's why you want to bring in Teddy Bridgewater. That's a really smart move. Campbell and Teddy were together in New Orleans. So he knows Teddy. And Teddy, as you all know, he's an exceptional human being. So this is a guy that's got all kinds of leadership qualities. This is the kind of guy that can mentor Hendon Hooker, while obviously the starter is worried about getting prepared every week. I think it's a really smart move by Detroit if they're able to bring him in, because the guy that's going to benefit from it is Hendon Hooker. Okay. Teddy Bridgewater, his career, 15,120 yards. This is what tells you why Teddy Bridgewater is mediocre and has been mediocre his entire career. 75 touchdowns and 47 interceptions. He can't even do 2-1 in interceptions to touchdown ratio. And that's 2-1 is like mediocre. 3-1 is like maybe average. And then when you start getting a 4-1 and 5-1 and 6-1 and all that, now you start getting into the elite categories. Now you start getting into those big time quarterbacks that their touchdown to interception ratio is a ridiculous 5, 6, 7-1. You know, that's where the elites are. If you can't even do 2-1, and 2-1 is mediocre. He can't even get to mediocre 2-1. But remember, Teddy Bridgewater is going to take Tua Tagovailoa's job. Wow. That was a doozy we had to deal with last year. The amount of stupid shit I heard about Tua is just amazing to me, to be quite honest. Birthdays today. Let's get into it. Let's see who's celebrating. Not a major list, but we got some names. All right, let's start off with Matt LeBlanc. For those of you that are Friends stars like I am, he is 56. Meg Donnelly. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Meg Donnelly, actress, is 23. Soccer player Hulk is 37. James Lafferty, actor, is 38. Not a major list today. Let's see. My favorite football player of all time was born on this day back in 1954. We lost him in 1999. The great Walter Payton. Who else? Alvin Kamara is 28 today. Estelle Getty, she of the Golden Girls, no longer with us, but was born on this date in 1923, passed away in 2008. Chantel Van Santen is 38, the actress. And that's it. Those are some of the birthdays today. Music history. Today in 1980, Kiss unveiled their new drummer, Eric Carr, at New York's Palladium. Initially, his makeup was supposed to have him looking like a hawk, but he more resembled Big Bird, so instead, he was made up like a fox. In 2006, Metallica put 4 albums up for sale on iTunes after leading the charge against the file-sharing service Napster. The band let fans download Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, and Justice for All. In 1980, on this date, AC/DC released Back in Black, their first album since the death of Bon Scott, and went to number 4. And amazingly, success with 2 different singers. In 1981, Air Supply went to number 1 with their song, Here I Am, the One That You Love. In 1989, the Beastie Boys released their second album, Paul's Boutique, which is named after a store in Brooklyn. Shake Your Rump, right? I love that. I love the beat to that song. In 1969, Neil Young appeared with Crosby, Stills, and Nash for the first time. It happened at a gig at the Fillmore East in New York. And that is what happened today in Musica history. There you go. Hunter Butler, thank you for the love on the super chat. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. And you can make a Bitcoin donation there, which with the dip, it's a good moment to make a Bitcoin donation. You know, I love me some Bitcoin donations. Hunter Butler with a super chat says, Big O, Jalen got the Supermax 5-year, $304 million from the Celtics. Yep. So you need a loan? I don't think we're surprised, right? Edward Thurston House is Tannehill, his 33,000 yards passing, 212 touchdown passes. If somehow the Titans win the Super Bowl this year with Tannehill at QB, do you think he will go to the Hall of Fame? Hall of Fame, and then you also Super Bowl this year. Boy, you're like, Edward, you're like piling on the drinks at this morning, right? It's 11:28. You've had how many drinks now at this time that you're thinking shit like that? Oh man. Let's see. Flores lawsuit going to trial. Who cares? I don't care about the Flores lawsuit. Flores and his lawsuit can kiss my ass. Tua had better than a 3-to-1 TD to interception ratio last year. Tua ranked top 3, if not first, in almost every important stat category last year. Only negative was the concussions that shortened the season. Yep, you are correct. Most Sharks are misunderstood. I know. I'm telling you. I love my Sharkies, and then they're all misunderstood. Oh, AC/DC better or before after Scott? I like Bon Scott more than God, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name now. Brian Johnson. So I'm more of a Bon Scott guy than Brian Johnson, but I'm not the guy that's going to tell you you're wrong if you like Brian Johnson more than Bon Scott. The AC/DC with Brian Johnson was more famous. It reached more people. So I can understand the people that may not, like Sin City, which is my favorite AC/DC song. And the Highway to Hell album is absolutely fantastic. And TNT and Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap and all that. I love Jailbreak, all that stuff from the Bon Scott era. I am a monster Bon Scott fan. Okay. So I'm a little biased, but I'm not ignorant, to the fact that if somebody likes the Brian Johnson AC/DC stuff is Back in Black is one of the most perfect albums in the history of mankind. I have to admit the Back in Black album is better than any of the Bon Scott albums. Album completely from beginning to end. That Back in Black album is a gold mine, dude. So I will not lie about that. I'm not going to, if somebody likes Brian Johnson more, I'm sure there's some of you out there saying, no, you know what? Oh, I'm more of a Brian Johnson guy than a Bon Scott guy. And I get it. Are you kidding me? For those about to rock and flick of the switch and, just everything that's gone on with Brian Johnson, Thunderstruck. I mean, that stuff is, that they've made some magical music together. So I'm not one of those guys that is going to say, oh no, Bon Scott over Brian. No, they're both phenomenal, but I lean to Bon Scott. If you gun to head, give me Bon Scott. But I love Brian Johnson. I've seen him in concert many times. Freaking awesome, dude. Awesome. It seems like Tua's gained some weight this offseason. Could that also increase his throwing power? I think it will, because his neck and shoulders are stronger. So I think he could have a little bit more arm strength. But that's not really his problem. He can make all the throws he needs. Arm strength is not an issue. So... Yes, sir.
Hey, I don't know if you saw this story, but Dennis DJ Hernandez, the brother.
Oh yeah,
brother?
Oh, yeah, bro. Yeah, I have it. Yes, I have it here. He is under investigation because he possibly was he was visiting schools and scoping out schools. And so the story is Dennis DJ Hernandez, the older brother of Aaron Hernandez, has been arrested again. This time, cops say there was concerns he had been planning school shootings at UConn and Brown University. The disturbing allegations are all spelled out in a new Bristol Police Department documents. Cops say DJ showed signs this month of being gravely disabled and in danger to society. And according to the BPD, several people came forward in early July claiming DJ had been acting erratically and sending alarming text messages, including one that allegedly read, we're taking lives if shit isn't paid up. It's been years in the planning, just taking notes, names, and locations. They talked their way into this, and it's all almost point game. Cops wrote in the docs that they were told by a woman claiming to be DJ's ex that instead of using her car to go to the scheduled July 7th court date, he actually drove to Brown University in UConn and went into a number of classrooms and buildings. Cops say another person told them they believe DJ had been traveling to campuses in order to plan school shootings. In addition, DJ had posted messages with threatening languages on his social media pages on July 19th, including one that's read, "Will I kill? Absolutely. I've warned my enemies, so pay up front." Yeah, that Hernandez family wasn't necessarily wired the right way. Both oars don't land in the water. The elevator doesn't hit the top floor. Yeah. It's a scary story. And I'm glad that it reminds me, and we're going to go to Manny now. Manny, I know you're there, but the Freddie Ramirez story. Did you see that story, Sean, of the Miami police officer that shot himself in the head? You didn't see that story yesterday? So apparently he had an argument with his wife at the hotel where they were out for that convention in Tampa. And at one moment, he put the pistol in his mouth. And then they let him leave. And then he shot himself. So if that story's true, how did they let him leave after he put a pistol in his mouth? That part did not make sense to me. Like the second somebody puts a pistol in their mouth, they need to be taken to get checked out. So the Hernandez thing, this is proactive. Get his ass off the streets before. If the signs are there, do it. The sign was there for Freddie day before yesterday. Why didn't they take him to the hospital right there and then? Why did they allow him and his wife to drive away? Need to know more about that story. All right, let's get to the ACC Media Days. Manny Navarro next.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
How you feeling, bro? You feeling good?
Feeling good, man. I can't complain.
So, by the way, just to kind of get off the beaten path a little bit, the Freddie Ramirez story, you saw that yesterday, right?
Yeah, the sheriff from Miami-Dade PD.
Did you find it weird in that story that he had the argument with his wife prior, and he put the pistol in his mouth, and then they let him go?
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't
They
understand how you could let somebody go after that.
Right.
Really
Isn't that part of the
story.
story? Yeah. That's the part of the story that threw me off yesterday. Like, wait a minute. You let him leave after that? Like,
Yeah.
like man, maybe you could have saved the man from all this now, and his family too, unfortunately. I don't know the whole gist. I don't know what's going on. Obviously, something's going on, and prayers to everybody. But wow, man, that story threw me off a little bit when I just so weird. And he comes off very likable on what he does publicly, So
Yeah.
wishing them the best in the family in recovery. It's tough. All right. So what have you learned roaming around Charlotte?
Well, I got a chance to talk to Mario for about 25 minutes a little while ago when he first got here. Talked with Tyler Van Dyke, Cam Kitchens. I haven't had a chance to speak with Matt Lee yet, so they've 3 out of the 4 so far, but it's early. I've learned that obviously Miami's made some roster changes. There's been some guys that are no longer on the roster that were backups. Nobody, necessarily big or important. I know Miami's leadership council has grown this year in the offseason. It's grown from 6 guys a year ago to 13, so that's a good sign. What else have I learned? I mean, Mario seems to me that he's excited about this roster. I mean, 42 new players, 7 new assistant coaches since the end of last season. So I think all in all, you look at the changes that he's made. There's some tangible changes, and I see more of a smile on his face than I did a year ago when he first got the job.
Well, we haven't played any games yet, so
yeah,
there's plenty of things that could take that smile off. Hopefully, hopefully we start to get to see more of what he's all about. And I think that was the frustrating part for Mario, is that his identity for a football team, because we know what his identity is. It's going to be physical play. It's going to be punch you in the mouth. They're going to run the ball and all that kind of stuff. And they could not do those things, last year. And so this year, it's more about hopefully you're inching closer to the characteristics that he wants for his football team.
Yeah, I think that's really what it's about for him. He said about having guys at Miami that want to be at Miami. And I think last year when he first took that job, he didn't know what that was going to look like until he actually coached those guys and got into the heat of the moment with them. And so I think from a physical perspective, they look a lot more like the kind of team he wants to be from a size and depth perspective. I think he's happier with the roster. But you're right. They got to go out and prove that they can get punched in the mouth and get back up. When Texas A&M lands that first haymaker, what kind of team is Mario's Hurricanes going to be? Are they going to resort to being what they've been the last few years, or are they going to start to show the kind of character that he wants to show? So he doesn't know that until you get in the heat of the battle. But as far as everything in terms of changing the culture and changing the roster, this is, in year 2, much more of what Mario wants it to look like.
How much of the battle is there on the offensive line? Because if you're going to level off on offense, those 5 guys need to find the 5 guys you're going to go to, to battle with every single week. And you've got to find a way to develop some consistency on that offensive line. So how many jobs are up for battles, and how difficult will it be to finally settle in on those 5 guys?
Well, I don't think it's going to be difficult at all. I think they had a pretty good spring with the group of guys that they expected to be ready. I think, looking at Matt Lee, looking at Javian Cohen, the 2 transfers that they added, I think those guys are cemented at center and left guard. I think Jalen Rivers will be one of the other starters for sure, somewhere on that offensive line. I think Inez Cooper will probably be your right guard, and then your right tackle is probably going to be Francis Mauangoa. I asked Mario today about Zion Nelson, still recovering from his surgery, so I don't think Zion Nelson is going to be ready to necessarily go at the very start of fall camp, which to me puts him into one of those modes where he's going to be behind those 5 guys that should be the starters. So eventually they expect to get Zion back, but they're kind of treating him with kid gloves right now. They're not rushing him back. They feel good about the 5 that they have. They feel good about a lot of the young offensive linemen that they've added to this roster. I think Matthew McCoy is a name to know, a second-year player. I think he's the kind of guy who could be in the competition for one of those tackle spots. So I I think from a competition standpoint, you will see some, but I think the 5 guys that I've mentioned already will probably be their starting lineup game 1.
What do you tell the overzealous fan that thinks they're going to win 10 games and possibly challenge for the ACC?
I said it's great to have hope. It's great to believe that, you know, they could have a season like that. I know Tyler Van Dyke thinks they can have a season like that. He thinks that, you know, he brought up TCU, he brought up Florida State as 2 teams that went from 5 wins a year ago to 10 wins and playing in the national championship game. And he thinks that Miami can do the same thing. So your quarterback certainly believes that. I think there's guys on this roster believe that they can have a big turnaround. Me, the 26-year veteran reporter who's been on this beat for a long time, I don't have as much faith because I simply think it's going to take time for a lot of the true freshmen that Mario's going to count on to really start playing at an elite level. But do I think Miami's going to get better as the year progresses? Do I think Mario could potentially win 8, maybe 9 games with this team? I don't think it's out of the question. I think there's a possibility. I'm just not expecting a ACC championship or a playoff berth or anything like that. So for the Miami fans that are hoping for that, it's great to have hope. I think the reality is you should probably stay grounded a little bit more and allow the process to play out.
Yeah, if he gets the 9 or more wins, he has done one massive coaching job. That's the way I look at it. If he gets to those kind of wins, then for all the negativity that went on last year, we can completely reverse it and add a ton of positivity, because that would be one hell of an accomplishment. I'm kind of targeting. I'm staying in the 7 to 8 win window for them. I think that would be a major jump for them because they got to learn how to win too. And all that. This team hasn't even learned how to win yet. I think there's a process, to all of it. So is Tyler convincing himself that he's satisfied and happy about where he's at, or is it something that he does look really comfortable in the offense with the offensive coaching staff now? What do you see it? Is it a player trying to talk himself into being positive, or is he in a really good place right now?
I think he is positive because he feels more belief in this team. We talked a lot about that leadership council that I mentioned earlier. The fact that it's gone from 6 guys, with guys that are no longer here. Lou Hadley was one of those 6 guys. DJ Ivey was one of those 6 guys. There's only 3 of those guys back, and they added 10 leadership council at Miami. You basically need the support of all your teammates. So the fact that number has grown from 6 to 13 in Tyler's eyes, the fact that those guys, there's more investment, right, in calling each other out, which is something Cam Kitchens echoed. They feel like there's more ownership of this team, and guys can communicate and talk to each other and be frank when they're screwing up. They can call each other out. And so for all of those reasons alone, he has confidence that things are going to change with this team. As far as the offense is concerned, I think without question, he's more at home in this offense, in this, air raid type attack. I think there's a level of confidence in the receivers that maybe he didn't have a year ago. I think Colby Young has stepped up. His performance, Mario talked about that today. I think overall, they have more talent and speed at that position between, Ray Joseph, the true freshman that they added. You look at the transfers. They picked up a couple dudes here. Shamar Kirk, the kid they picked up from Alabama, was one of the fastest in the country. All of those guys, they're excited about, helping bring some more energy to this offense.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, what are you working on the Athletics so folks can check you out?
Yeah, obviously I'll have quite a few reports here in Charlotte. Certainly I'll have a Miami story tomorrow for people to read off of my conversations today. A lot of one-on-one type conversations. Obviously Florida State and Clemson are sort of viewed as the best programs in the league right now. I'll have a breakdown of that, of the potential Clemson FSU matchups, which we'll probably end up seeing twice this year because remember there's no divisions anymore, so you can have the 2 best teams in the championship game. plenty more. Louisville's got a new coach, Jeff Brom, who's taking over. I'll have a chance to sit and talk with him. I'm going to get a chance to talk with Mike Norvell probably tomorrow. So a lot of information coming out in the Athletic from the ACC kickoff.
Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Manny, enjoy yourself out there in Charlotte, my friend. We'll catch up later in the week.
All right, brother. Talk soon.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Manny Navarro. Don't forget, go to caneswear.com, baby. Order over $99. You will get free shipping. They've got anything and everything practically with the Canes logo on it. And tonight is Inter Miami in action against Atlanta. Leagues Cup action. Man, you could go get your Messi jersey, hats, shirts, all kinds of Inter Miami gear there at Caneswear, baby. You can get Dolphin gear, Heat gear, Marlins gear. Come on, man. Panthers gear. Get on down there. Go to Caneswear. And if you don't live in that Broward area, maybe it's too far for you to drive, and go to caneswear.com and have it delivered to your home, man. Over $99, you will get free shipping. So tell them that Big O sent you. Caneswear.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Right. Thank you all out there, as always, for keeping it locked here on the program. I can't wait, man. We've talked a lot about the offseason, and I am so happy that, the regular season is now right around the corner. We've got training camp going on. I mean, we actually get to talk about real football and not what we think is going to happen and all that. I just, for me, I don't want to put myself in a position where it's unrealistic for Mario, because that team was a disaster last year. And how do you go from a disaster to a contender? I just, it's hard for me to see that kind of a jump right now for this team. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong. That would be fantastic. But if they can get to 7 or 8, I think that's progress for them, and then that'll set it up. Whereas what I think the years 3 and 4 is when your players are completely taking over the program. They've been through the system for a couple of years. Now they're comfortable, those kind of things. That's when I think Miami really starts to take off in years 3 and 4 overall. But this year, it's tough, man. It's a lot that they have to overcome from last year. Sound issues. You got sound issues? Nobody else is saying it.
No, the issue was every once in a while when it got real loud, it would lower your mic. It's the cross cancellation that we can't deal with.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's something we can control sometimes. Yeah. The Back in Black album, the Eagles' greatest hits album, and Michael Jackson's Thriller album are top 3 selling albums of all time. Yeah, but the greatest hits album doesn't count because it's a greatest hits album. So you're supposed to sell a lot. But Back in Black is a single album that has a lot of the greatest hits inside of it, but it's an album, not a greatest hits album. And then the Michael Jackson Thriller album is like a greatest hits album, but it's only really an album. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like Off the Wall. Off the Wall is like a greatest hits album, but it's only an album. So that's where I get what you're saying. We're just talking about sales, and you're right that Eagles' greatest hits is a gold mine. That thing is sold like crazy. But I'm more impressed by albums that aren't greatest hits. So, yeah, the Ramirez family has got to be going through some personal hell right now. And who the hell knows what was going on with that family. It's a revenge game for Martinez and Tata Martino tonight against Atlanta. Let's hope so. Yeah, I saw it, Frankie. I don't know if LeBron has a history of it in his family tree. I have no idea. No idea. Big O, if Mario goes 8 to 10, look out the rest of the country. They won't be coming down and get the cream of the. Oh, yeah. Well, 8 is not, 7, 8 is our. If they start getting to the 9 or 10 range or 11, that's some sick shit. Okay. That means Mario and his staff are just killing it, recruiting, developing, coaching. They're just killing it in every area if they go from over 9. They go 9 or over with this bunch, that would be absolutely sick. Okay? Because what you're talking about, the future would be even brighter. So, yeah. That would be pretty amazing if it ends up happening. Let's see. Florida Panthers extend Listerine. Love it. Green Line. Love it. That Listerine played well, dude. So, yes, I like him. Good player. So, it's a good move. No doubt about it. All right. Training camp will start tomorrow. Tyreek Hill has paid off the Marina guy. Now we wait to see what the NFL does. Will the NFL, again, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think it could be any worse than one game. Nothing worse than that. That, I think, is the worst thing that can happen to Tyreek Hill. So let's see what happens with the NFL. Okay? It's not the end of the world, but it could be one game, if anything. If anything. Hopefully it's just a fine, and that's a joke, and you move on. So quarterbacks. I don't know how many of you saw the series with Mahomes' cousin and Mariota. The Mariota part, it was for me more about his wife than Mariota. Mariota to me I've never taken him serious. But it was a decent series. It was fun. It was all right. It was entertaining. It wasn't the greatest thing since sliced bread or anything, but it was fun. So Matthew Stafford now is open to joining the show this year. So apparently the show will go on. It's gotten a lot of great reviews. People are watching it a lot on Netflix. And the question is, who else would you want to see on quarterbacks? Who would be, since those of you that are on the chat board now, if you're watching or downloading the show later on, send me an email at bigradioshow@yahoo.com. You can always send your question, comments there to bigradioshow@yahoo.com, or you can send in a super chat at any time with your comment, question, complaint, insult, whatever. Cash Big O Show on Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. So what quarterback would you want to see? I was thinking Joe Burrow is one I would like to see. Because he's got that swag to him, you know what I'm saying? So that would be a pretty cool one. Tua, I don't think would want to do it, right? Although if Tua gets on a little roll now and, kind of sheds that injury stuff and gets on a roll and stays healthy and plays well for the next couple of seasons, then I can see him being comfortable in that area and doing something like that down the line. But I doubt he would do it at this moment. So then Joe Burrow is one I would throw out there. Who's another one that you would want to see? And who's one that you don't think should be on it? It's funny, Tiger Shark, you say Russell Wilson. That would be one I think shouldn't be on it. He is such an awkward dude that I don't think it'll jive well. Because he's not really, he can't be funny because he's so like geeky, corny, so wholesome. You know what I'm saying? That there's no edge to Russell. Personality wise, Obviously, he has an edge to his game. Well, he used to at least. But it's just one of those where there isn't that edge. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if I want to see Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson, it's like Mariota. Mariota's lame as hell, dude. Mariota was, it was one that it was, I don't know, kind of whiny, kind of, oh, woe is me type of dude, that kind of guy. So, we'll see. Oh, do you have any hope for Tyndall? Why would you give up on him? I don't understand that, Troy. I know you have a negative slant to your comments a lot of times. So you kind of lean to negative things a lot of times. So, but why would you say something like that? He's a rookie that had 1 year. I don't get it. Lots of guys don't do well in their first years. A ton of guys. So why wouldn't I have hope for Ezukama? Why wouldn't I have hope for Tyndall? I don't understand that. Why would I give up on them? You sound like Omar Kelly after Jay Ajayi's first year. Oh, he's nothing. He can't be a bell cow. That's what Omar told me after the first year. I'm like, how do you do that? He barely played, had injuries, and finished strong in the last month of the season. He can't be a bell cow. He gave up on Jay Ajayi before it even started. So, Troy, to me, it's ridiculous to say, do you still have hope? That means you gave up on the guy. Because you're talking about hope. Why would I even think like that at this point after one season for any player in the league? Unless the guy was like getting arrested and doing stupid things. Okay, so this guy's a knucklehead. This guy will never make it. Then I can give up on him. But I'm not giving up on a guy after one season. No Aaron Rodgers. Justin Herbert. I don't know if he has the personality. Jameis Winston, that would be kind of entertaining because he's crazy. Trevor Lawrence, he kind of looks boring, right? But there's a little he's kind of an intense dude, so maybe that might be a little fun. But he has a little, kind of plain Jane to him too. You know what I'm saying? Apparently, if you type Tiger Shark 3 times, Tiger Shark Tony appears. LOL. There you go. Big O, do you think they're not paying running backs anymore because being a workhorse caused too many medical conditions after football lawsuits, etc.? So now they use 2 backs, less wear and tear. I just think that because of the wear and tear and because of the injuries, they don't want to pay backs because they're all going to get injured. They're all going to break down. And that's the problem. So they don't want to pay these guys. It's just the way we're evolving with the position. That's just the way it is. Lamar Jackson could be fun. That's a good one because he's very emotional. He's super confident. He is a great connector with his teammates, right? So he's a guy that really connects with people around him. I mean, Lamar Jackson is impossible not to love. You know what I'm saying? Even though I may not be a believer of him as a passer, okay, he is impossible not to like. Impossible. I like that one. Lamar Jackson could be fun. Geno Smith, Ray, that's a good one. So you get Burrow, the elite. Then you get Lamar, like the in-between quarterback. And then you get a Geno Smith. I like that. Kind of 3-level guys. And Geno's a good dude. I like it. I like it. That's a good one. You guys are coming up with some good ones there. Deshaun Watson. Oh, God. What a piece of shit that guy is. He was throwing out earlier this week that, people don't talk about my story, this and that, because the media had a narrative last year. What an asshole. Yeah, no, the media had a narrative. Yeah, I know, of course. They made up that you were, screwing around with 25 different masseuses and all that and doing dirty shit with them. Yeah, no, of course. The media, it's all the media's fault that you ordered all those masseuses. Yeah, definitely. Weak shit, dude. Weak shit. Happens all the time. People want to blame others for their problems. That guy did not learn anything because as a society, we don't punish people. We reward them if they're really talented with shit like this. It's as insulting as it gets. Big O, did you have a cloaca inflammation? What is a cloaca? Willie, I have no idea what you're talking about. So you've got to enlighten me. Pat in Nashville says, put Jimmy G on if you want to see more of the trainers from. Tua Time also says, put Jimmy G on the show so I can see the hotties that chase him around, which is true. Which is true. Son of a bitch is going to pick up some women because he is a good-looking dude, bro. He's got the GQ look like all over. He should be on all those kind of magazines. Probably has been already. I have no idea. But yeah, he is he's the handsome dude. He's the guy that the women's like. Omar Kelly equals the Grinch of Dolphins pasts. Oh, somebody sent me a link on apparently Poupar was getting killed yesterday. Oh, man. It's funny. Funny. All right, folks, we are out of here. We thank Cameron Wolfe. We thank Manny Navarro, as always. We thank any of you out there that sent in a super chat. If you can also send in a Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. We thank, of course, Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend, that puts it all together every single day. We will see you tomorrow. It'll be probably in the afternoon. Tomorrow we will make an adjustment on the show. I've got to do something personal. So I've got to take care of some business in the morning. So I will probably be on in the afternoon. All right. On behalf of Sean Stanley and yours truly, we will see you tomorrow. Different time, same place, same bat channel.